Hi guys, it's Lost Xeno here, and I just want to go over some of the things I'm looking forward to in patch 5.2 or 2.5, depending on when they're released. They were recently announced in the most recent live letter, number 57. As of recording, that was yesterday. So I just wanted to give you an idea of what I'm looking forward to personally, and what probably you'll see more content from me from. One of the things I'm looking forward to is definitely the new raids. I'm not a Savage Raider, as some of you may or may not know. It's just not me at the minute. I just don't have the time or availability for it. But I'm definitely looking forward to just the story for it. I really like that we're going back to some of the older we're looking at older fights, but they're doing them differently at the same time with Leviathan and Titan. I'm definitely looking forward. I'm pretty sure everyone's under the assumption it's going to be another 4 primals. That's really good and looks really fun. And they've said that the mechanics are definitely going to be different and something we've probably never experienced before, and I'm definitely excited about that. I just hope it's not exclusively Savage thing, and in fairness, it doesn't tend to be. So that's one of them. The next thing I'm looking forward to is the Ishgardian Restoration updates. I'm definitely looking forward to the fact they're going to try and include gatherers more, because I think one of my biggest problems has always been with the Ishgardian Restoration is that for gathering, all you really seem to do is just gather materials for crafting, which I get that's what gatherers are meant to do, but it's they use a collectible system for it, so I don't think it would have been too difficult for them to have used to just have you gather collectibles to help with it, and maybe that would somehow supply it. So if there wasn't enough supplies, but enough of that. The idea of Diadem and looking at them actually going in there, doing some mining, and then once you've done enough mining, you can go and shoot a mob, go and get their drops, and then come and get them, and then rinse and repeat until you've got what you need. That actually looks pretty cool. As well as with Guardian Restoration, the crafting changes, the gathering changes that are coming with that. It's definitely something I'm looking forward to as well. I'm always happy to see how they change things. Not necessarily I'm not going to say they change every change they make is the best, but I definitely think they're looking, if they're changing it, it means they're not happy with it as it is now, and that's always a good sign if we're not happy with it. And I personally would definitely like to see some more updates to the gathering system, hopefully something that makes it easier to 100% high quality gather, but that's for another time. So the next thing I'm looking forward to is what we're hoping is probably going to be Relic in the upgradable weapons, as they're calling it. I always love a good Relic, and I love getting them even if it is just for glamour. They always look nice, they always have a nice effect, at least eventually. I'm glad that they seem to be reverting on something old when it comes to the craft as well, in that they're doing something similar, in that you can upgrade your main hand in a similar way. For those who don't know, there was actually a system similar to that in 2.0 or A Realm Reborn. You could hand in an item plus the item you got for quest, much like you kind of did do with relics in Eureka, and then you'd get back a better variant of it. It's kind of glossed over now because the level 50 gear is about equivalent. That maxed out is about equivalent to the level 58 gear, so that maxing out is a lot more effort than just getting the level 53 piece of gear. But mainly it's the relic stuff. I'm a little bit nervous because they did say that part of the content would be of extreme difficulty, but not called extreme, and that kind of worries me, just on the basis that whenever I think extreme difficulty, I'm always thinking content that probably isn't for me because I'm more of a casual player. Like I said, I've not got the time for savage raiding and learning encounters fairly quickly. It might just be one of those things that I just have to wait a week till everyone's got the guide out and I just ruffle stomp it with everyone else. But you never know. I'm also glad to see that they've actually given you a reason to go back to Ivalice. So that's the Stormblood 24 mans. You've got to go back and make sure you've completed all of that content if you want to complete your relic, and I'm definitely happy to see that coming. I just like it when they add some new stuff for us to go, a reason for us to go back to old content, even if it is just to make sure we've done it. Same reason people were doing Crystal Tower just before Shadowbringers dropped, just for the story. But yeah. And then there's Beast Tribe. Now, I kind of enjoy doing Beast Tribe. I like that the Beast Tribe they're adding will be focused on gatherers, because We never really had one that's focused on gatherers. Most of the time they've been combat or crafters, and the ones that had crafters were occasionally had a gatherer, but it was like you need gatherer level 7 to do this, and you had to go and gather an item quickly, and then you'd actually do the crafting, which actually got your hand in for the XP, and so it could be used for your crafters, but wasn't so good for using on, say, your gatherers. So to find that this one's going to be gatherer specific, definitely seems like a good start. My only hope is that it doesn't mean that the third and final beast tribe will be another combat one and we don't get a craft one. I'd like to see one of all three. I think that's a fair balance. Not everyone does crafting, but not everyone likes to do loads and loads of combat. Also seen the new mount. I kind of really like it. I definitely want it. That's really nice, and always a good reason to do beast tribes. If you're looking for a reason to go back, mounts. It's a true endgame. Don't listen to those who say it's glamour. But yeah, so I'm definitely looking forward to that. Always nice to find another way to level up gatherers, especially fishers. We'll come to that in just a second. And finally, the bit of content I would say I'm most looking forward to is definitely the new fishing stuff. The whole idea of going on a boat with a group of 24 other guys, be it your free company or just a bunch of randos, doing fishing for a bit on there, using that to get my fishermen up. My only thing about it is the same problem I've always had with fishing, even after you get release, and that is the fish clog up your inventory. And I didn't see anything on there that said, oh yeah, once you catch these fish they don't go in your inventory, or once you finish this area they've taken out your inventory for the score. That kind of but at the same time I imagine there'll be a vendor right nearby, so it won't be too difficult. But I'm definitely looking forward to this thing, and it looks kind of like a gate, like the gold saucer gates every 20 minutes, except for every 20 minutes is every 2 hours, which is a bit long, but I hope that's something they'll be looking to tweak at some point to see if it's too long or not long enough or just right, that sort of thing. And I'm pretty confident they will be. For those wondering, the things that I didn't really crop up in this episode, the umbrella stuff, I really couldn't care either way, to be honest. It's not something that entertains me. Some of the other miscellaneous, the job changes, that's job changes, they be PvP or PvE, they're definitely something that is something I tend to be more interested in once they're out. Like, read the patch notes, alright, this is cool, let's go in and try this stuff out. That's more where I stand with it. I'm not so much all this speculation. All I've read from that is they're going to increase red mage DPS. Seems fair enough. Some of that will include knocking off some of the fall-offs on their AoEs. Okay. Summoner's a bit too powerful, need to knock off on the dots. Okay. Something like that. It's not something I'd look forward to. I like the idea of the new changes, but the change is it's the same way that every change excites someone, and that's all it really is to me. It's not Ocean Fish, it's not something brand new, it's not Relic, something old but something I really love, or Guardian Restoration updates, this looks really cool sort of stuff. Also the marker changes they're talking about, not being able to put them on in PvP when in combat, and you can only but you can use presets. That is not me. Like I said, I don't savage raid a lot. I don't do any savage raiding actually. I tend to leave extremes until the next expansion, but they're just not really something I use, so they're not something that really affects me. But I definitely think what they have done is something interesting, and I do think I might make a video on it at some point. But yeah, so I've been LostVino. Thanks for watching. If there's anything you think I should have added to this video that you thought was really interesting and something to be really hyped for, leave it down in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts on just the stuff you're really looking forward to. Yeah, thanks for watching. I've been LostVino. See ya.